Hello students. So in today's video I'll discuss about the merging of two sorted arrays to form a third sorted array. So I've already discussed that program to you. Okay, so today practically I'll show it to you, okay, the program, and try to explain it to you. Okay, so when we merge two sorted array, that means sorted means the array elements are already in ascending orders. Okay, so the values stored in the array elements are already in ascending order, and it will form a third sorted array. So here, like suppose as per in your textbook, okay, you have two arrays, that is rank 1 is the array name and rank 2 is the other array name. Okay, as you can see, the data values here are in sorted, that is ascending orders. So this rank 1, the size of this is 6, so it can create 6 array elements, and the index starts from 0 till 5, right? So index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, or you can say subscript. Okay, so the array elements will be 6. So that means array elements like the variables, right? The variables, that is rank 1, and based on the index 0 will store the value 21, rank 1 will store the value 34, rank 1 2 will store the value 45, and so on. Okay, till the 6th array element. So similarly, rank 2 also will the size is 4. So you can see that the values are in sorted orders. Okay, so when you compare these two sorted arrays, okay, the third sorted array will be created based on the length of this array and the length of this array. So here it is 6 and here it is 4, right? So the third sorted array will be the length of the first and the second. So that means altogether we have 10 sorted arrays, all in ascending orders, right? So when these two arrays are to be compared, okay, the comparison will be done from the first element. Okay, the first element of this with the first element of that. Whichever one is minimum will be stored in the third array in the first element. Okay, and then next after that, okay, the second minimum value will be compared with the corresponding array element in the first. Okay, so like that, at the end you will have these sorted arrays listed out like that. Now pictorially, okay, it is very easy to understand, but program wise, okay, when you have to display it and explain it through C++ program, the format is different. Okay, so let's see that C++ program format. Okay, so here you can see that I've already typed out the program. Okay, so so here that you can see that for those of you who are still facing problem, okay, I'll just try to explain everything from this program itself. Okay, you can see that I'm using stylish guidelines, okay, that is blank lines, okay, comments, blank spaces in between, okay, which is acceptable, and then I'm using indents, okay, so indentations. So here this is a comment that is represented by this slash, asterisk, and asterisk slash. Okay, this is a multi-line comment. This multi-line comment is usually written at the top of the program. As you can see that I've used this single line comment in between the program also, right? So single line comments can be used in between the program. Okay, these comments are used for the programmers, or they are useful for the programmers because they help the programmers to understand what the program logic is about, right? Now if suppose I omit this one, you can see that all the source code is under comments, so it will not run. So that's why even a small mistake can become a problem for the program. So for those of you who are using Dev C++, always remember we don't include the .h here. Okay, if we do that, okay, if we write here .h, okay, then when you compile it, the compiler will display an error. So this error gets highlighted, right? Hashtag include. So the error is iostream.h, no file, such file or directory, compilation terminated. Okay, so that's why you remove this. Okay, another thing that you need to know is that, okay, once you make any changes in the source code, okay, you always need to compile it. Okay, because if you don't compile it, okay, that changes will not be reflected in the object file, right? So always remember that what you do is that this is the source file, okay, which is in human readable form. Humans can read it. Okay, but when you compile it, okay, then it will the another similar file, but in machine format, but in machine readable form will be created, which the computers can understand. And then after that only you can run it. So when you run it, the linker software will create an exe file through which you'll be able to get the output. So all these things are basics. Okay, so just go through that. Now the main thing is, okay, the int, you know that the main function returns an integer value. By default, the main function returns an integer value. That's why we have written here return 0. 0 is an integer value, right? 0 is an integer value. So that this means this tells the operating system, okay, this tells the operating system that the program has run successfully, okay, has compiled successfully, okay, that successfully terminated. Clear? So that no errors are found. So so when the main function here by default returns an integer value, which means that, okay, return 0 is written at the bottom, which means successful termination of the program. Okay, so now this is denoted by this parenthesis. Okay, the main function is responsible for the execution of the program and the termination of the program. So the compiler will execute what is written within this opening and closing curly braces. Okay, so anything, so since the compiler will execute only what is written within the main function body, so the variable needs to be declared here. The command prompt, you need to enter the value here, you need to process the formula here, and then you need to output the result here. Okay, so everything has to be done within here itself. Now let's come back to the program. Always the variables are declared first, because when you declare the variables, the compiler allocates memory, right? And then only then whatever value you enter from the keyboard, those values get stored in the computer memory. Clear? So variable declaration is very much necessary. And then again, remember that here you are declaring all these three variables because they are of the same type and separated by comma operators. So the variables are user defined names. Keep that in mind. Okay, so you can change this from rank 1 to rank. Okay, so instead of rank 1, you can change it to rank like this. Okay, but if you do change this to rank, keep in mind that everywhere where there is written rank 1 should be renamed as rank. Okay, so within this square bracket, this is the index or the subscript which represents the size of this array, which means that 50 means that, okay, you can create 50 array elements or 50 variables which will store 50 values. So if you declare a variable normally, okay, it would means that you have to declare 50 50 50 150 variables, which will increase the length of the program, right? So why not just use an array, right? So by this array name, all the array elements will be declared. So the compiler will automatically create the array elements, and then the memory space will be automatically allocated sequentially, right? So that's why array is used. And another thing that you need to know is that when you use an array, always the for loop is used, right? So that's why we declare the counter variables I, j, k. T is for the temp variable, because as you have seen in your previous years programs also, okay, when you're sorting the values, okay, you need a temporary variable because you're swapping the values, you're comparing, right? So that is for this variable T. And what is this M and N? M and N specify the size or the length of the array, right? As you can see here, enter first array length M, enter second array length N, right? So that value will be the maximum range, because even though it is written here 50, it is not necessary that you should declare 50 array elements. Okay, if you enter here 6, that means you can declare 6 array elements only. You don't need to use declare 50 array elements. Also, the use of this M and N is for the for loop, because the for loop needs to be finite. The looping needs to be finite. It has to come out at a certain point of time, right? So always the command prompt needs to be given. First array length, second array length, you enter suppose 6 and 4 here, right? Now the third array is not entered here, because based on these two array, suppose this is 6 and this is 4, so the third array length will be 6 plus 4, 10, right? Because you are not going to enter extra values. Whatever value is entered here and whatever value is entered here in these array elements will be the length of this rank 3 array. Clear? So that's why it's not mentioned here. Now after you mention the size, the length, what is the next step? To enter the values, right? So that is why it is entered here, enter sorted elements of rank 1. So as you can see that for I equal to 0, I is initialization is only done once, and then I is 0 because the array index always starts with 0, right? So here 0 is less than what is m? 6. So this test condition will be this condition will be tested 6 times by the, so this is the iteration where I will get incremented by 1, right? So as long as this test condition is true, range 1 0, range 1 1, range 1 2, range 1 3, range 1 4, range 1 5, that will keep on creating. The array elements will be created where you will enter the value. Suppose like this, range 1 0, index 0, 21 is stored. Okay, in range 1 2, 34 is stored, and so on. Okay, so by the time this test condition becomes false, okay, the loop will continue 6 times and 6 array elements will be created, declared, okay, and then it will be initialized with the values which you enter from the keyboard. Clear? Similarly here also it will be done the same way. Only thing that you should notice is that here the counter variable I is used, here the counter variable j is used, okay, because you have 2 arrays, right? So you have 2 counter variables, because if you use this counter variable here I, okay, now already this this counter variable I is used to assign these values, right? So if you change from here j to I, okay, this value will get compromised, okay, and then this you will get you will get the wrong input values, okay. So that's why you cannot use this counter variable I in this for loop. Clear? Because this is a totally different array, so that is range 2. So the values will be entered, and then here you, this part, okay, yeah, I, j and k needs to be initialized to 0, okay, because assigned to start from 0 position, because when the comparison is to be done, okay, I and j has to start from 0, because it starts with the first array element, and k also should be 0, because whichever one is the least will be assigned here, right? And the next least one will be assigned in the second one or second position, which means I1 like that, okay, will be compared with j like that. Got it? So that's why here I, j and k is initialized to 0, okay. So here using the logical operator and in the while loop, okay, the condition, these two conditions, test expression needs to be true. That is, 0 is less than 6 and 0 is less than, suppose n is 4. So as long as this is true, the loop will continue 6 times. So you get to test the condition 6 times. So within this while loop you have the if construct. If rank 1 I is less than rank 2 j, suppose rank 1 I, that is 0, is 21 and rank 2 j is suppose 4, which is false, right? 21 is less than 4, which is false. So this if block will not be executed. It will come to the else part. Else rank 3 k, which is 0, because here is 0, right, equals to rank 2 0. So what value is stored in rank 2 0? Element 4, right? So 4 will be assigned to rank 3 k 0, rank 3 0, which is 4 will come here. You got it? So that way you can see that the minimum value gets sorted out and stores in the first array element. You got it? So after that k will get incremented by 1, because now you need to fill up the second array element, right? Similarly, I will also get incremented by 1, because now you need to compare, since rank 1 I 0 is already the minimum value. Now you need to test after incrementing I to 1. Now you need to test whether rank 1 is minimum or no, right? Okay, so that's why it will be, that's why here in this if condition, okay, you can see that here it is I and here it is j. Okay, so here why it is j is because when this is the minimum value, suppose this is 4, right? 4 will be assigned here. So now the next minimum value next array element of this j array needs to be compared. That's why it is incremented by 1. Similarly here, if I is minimum, okay, after it's assigned to k, then I will get incremented so as to compare the next ith element, that is suppose like 0 and the next is 1. You got it? Okay, so here after you enter the data, okay, the comparison between the two array elements are done in this while loop, okay, to find out which one is the minimum of the between the two arrays. Okay, then after that, okay, here again the same condition is done, except that here you have two while loops. Here what happens is that the assignment is done to the third array. So after the sorting is done here, okay, after the sorting is done in this while loop, okay, the arrangement into the third array is done in here. Okay, so that's why here see out the result is, okay, t is equal to m plus n. Suppose m is 6 and n is 4. 6 plus 4 is 10, which is assigned to the variable t. Okay, so this variable t acts as the counter variable. So that's why we have the for loop for k equals to 0. So when k is equal to 0, 0 is less than 10. So that's based on that we can display all the 10 values that are stored in this rank 3 array. You got it? Okay, so that's why so based on that, suppose like if I remove this, okay, so let's compile it and run it. Okay, so when you compile and run it, let's say I enter 6 and I enter 4. Okay, then I enter the value 21, 34, 45, say like 57, 75 and 90. Okay, and then I enter 4, 5, 6, 7. So now you're getting all the arrays in sorted order, right? You're getting all the arrays in sorted order. So this is the correct one. Now but if suppose I do like this, okay, ijk initialization, I press it under command, okay, and then let's say I compile it and run it. Okay, so now wait, return 1 exit status. So I compile it, okay, and then it's run. Okay, so now 6 and 4, again the same value, 21, 34, 45, was it 50, 55, okay, 75 and 90, okay, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you can see that you are getting a different result, right? Because I have omitted this part. So now what happens is that in the while loop, I is again used and j is again used. So what happens is that it does not get flushed out, right? So what happens is that the garbage value gets entered into the memory, and then that since I and j is prompt is called, okay, so different values will be assigned. So that's why you will not get the correct results. Okay, so that's why you need to remove this. Got it? And then after that only you will get the correct output. Okay, so students, what you do is that you type out these programs, okay, make some modifications on the program and then see the results. Okay, so this chapter, the first chapter for data structure array is completed. Okay, in the solve exercises you go through the solve exercises. Okay, whatever I've explained is in there, that is regarding the tables for the insertion sort, selection sort, tuple sort. Practice all these sorting methods tables, okay, then the linear search, binary search, okay, and then the row major order and column major order. Okay, these things are very important. Okay, so go through the solve exercises, okay, and yeah, practice on it. Okay, so that will be for all for today.